better in some of the emotional issues, and they did a really good job at giving you opportunity and experience and connecting with powerful people. So one of the feelings that happens at this point in time in this conversation is that you get really comfortable with being around powerful people.
Well, of course, it was fun. They had beautiful mansions and drove big cars, and it just looked like the life I'd like to have.
Cool. Really cool.
It was the 50s and the 60s, you know. It was, you know, but I wanted to be a policewoman. You know, I wanted to be Angie Dickinson.
Okay, good. So what's the first case that he has you investigate? You're working as a private investigator.
Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. I remember his name is not Charlie. What is his name? Plains. Is it Plains? No, that's the guy in Chicago. Oh my God, that's when I got my certificate. That's who trained me in personnel. That's who trained me with law enforcement, guns, weapon training. Charlie Plains. That's Chicago, Illinois, Great Lakes. Why is that becoming the guy, the investigator? Jesus. Okay, so now I'm getting men and law enforcement, PI, and blocking something. Let's see. Percy Foreman, Grandma. Let's see, Danny.
You keep blocking something.
So, I'm trying to go back in my brain to a location. You know how you do? I'm trying to do it in my brain, like create the video in my head going back to. I remember being at the private investigator's office. I remember
let's go to the office.
Thompson. Jerry Thompson gave me a Cadillac. He ran all the Burger Kings. So Jerry Thompson was involved.
Theresa, let's go to the office. Let's sit in the office, and I see a leather chair that you sit in. You sit in a leather chair. And there's a leather couch, and there's a beautiful desk. What happens in the office?
Whoever the guy is, I don't remember his name now. Buddy Hanson, was it Buddy Hanson? Private Eye. Anyway, the private eye, that he was talking to Percy Foreman, but I didn't know it at the time. But he said, "How would you like to meet Percy Foreman?" I said, "I already know him." He says, "You don't know him." And he had an argument with me about who I was, and I felt disenfranchised, but I was a kid. But he didn't know how old I was. But he thought I was coming there for a job. He says, "You're coming." I don't know how I got the door, but he thought I was applying for a job. He thought I was like 23 or 30, but anyway. But he didn't believe my story, but he said, "If you got time," and then he was talking to you won't believe this, and blah blah, and I walked in. Some other guy was there, and he thought I was applying for a job because he had two other girls and he had a thing. Anyway, he was looking for another girl, so he said, "Percy, I don't know." Anyway, it was a thing where it was like 2, and by 4. He took me to Percy's office to prove that Percy knew me. So it didn't make any sense to him. He thought I was some chick applying for a job, and I had to go to his office, but I don't know who sent me there. Or if I was choosing to, I think I was going to hire a private investigator on Joan's death. I think I was going to see how much it was to hire a private investigator, I think. But he thought I was applying for a job, but he was on the phone with Percy or something. But I think Percy heard my name. I don't know how it happened, but somehow coincidental, I wound up at, I think it was 1950 South Shepherd, but it was on South Shepherd, Westheimer. I was at that, but I don't know if I was hiring him or he was hiring me, but somehow he asked me to leave my car there and go with him to Percy Foreman's office. But I hadn't thought about being a private investigator, but somehow he thought I was applying for the job, so I took it. But he hired me because he took me to Percy Foreman, and Percy Foreman said, "Yeah, I know her." But he didn't tell how he knew me. But I was he thought I was Percy Foreman's private investigator because he hired him. So when he said that's all I need to know, but so I don't know what job, but I was hired because he took me to Percy, and Percy said, "Yeah, I know her." But I don't think Percy told him how he knew me, but it didn't matter because they were all in the office. right?
Okay.
And
So
anyway,
there's
this
the
got
office.
accepted. I was a private eye, so that's how I became a private eye.
Okay, good. Interesting story, because you wanted to take and find out what the mystery was of Joan's.
Who killed Joan?
Right. But inside of yourself, you already had a good idea who had killed Joan.
But I wasn't going to be the investigator. I was just a kid. But, yeah, I think I went to hire him. But he thought,
okay.
I don't know how that happened. That's interesting. I've never thought about that before. I've never had a reason to think about it.
Okay.
You understand? There's no. Why should I care how I became a private investigator? But that's
right.
really. I was called a
happened.
PI, and I was cool. That was cool. I had a
job.
It
was really cool. Okay. So here's a thought. Here's just a thought. We're just looking at it, and it's good material. Is there any way that you could see that the government wants to keep their eye on you, and so they give you a job, and then they can observe you, and they can discover what your talent is, what your capability is, how you work, and how you think?
I don't think they work that way. I don't think the government had anything to do with John and Joan. I think those are two different time threads or something. I don't know. I've never put any. I don't think those two stories go together personally. I don't feel it like. I think that was an accident. I think I was mad, or I don't know. I think I really was mad that Joan got killed because she was my friend. We rode horses and we swam together, and she took interest in me, and she was lonely, and she thought John was playing around on her. Oh God,
he was. He was.
I know, but they were married.
How did
I remember
she get
saying,
killed?
but y'all were married. I told you.
What happened?
That
How did she get killed? Did they?
Well, to
did
tell
they
you the truth,
shoot her?
nobody
did they
really
stab
knows.
her?
Mama said, Mama was in the hospital a lot then, and with Joan. Joan and her were friends, and Mama got to know Joan because I was spending time riding horses with her, right? Mama and Charlie, my stepfather, that gave her permission, and then I was seeing Steve, and Steve would go on Saturdays. So that's just what we did. That's what we did. But somehow Mama said, what did Mama say? She talked to Grady Hallman's wife. Mama was a writer. Mama had to do the story on the heartbeats with Denton, with Cooley, Denton Cooley. I went to that Denton's house. He had real pretty girl daughters. Denton Cooley was a heart surgeon with DeBakey, Denton Cooley. And Mama and Grady Hallman's wife, Martha, were talking. You know how women talk?
Mm-hmm.
And they were hiding me. Mama and Grady Hallman's wife, Martha, were hiding me. Why were they hiding me?
It's a good question.
I think that must be when they were writing the book or something. I don't know. I don't remember, but I don't even know what the question was now. I'm lost. What was the question?
You're good. You're good. You're doing really good. It's an interesting.
But you remember stuff. I didn't know this was. I don't know. Why is this important again? I don't get it.
Okay, let me explain it to you. Let's take a breather for
Don't
a
worry
second.
about it.
So here's the over picture is that my feeling and looking at your memories and looking at what's going on in your life, when you tell your story, it sounds unbelievable. But when you look at the story as part of a process of where the government is keeping track of you and grooming you in order to take and put you into a position and for them to learn about your talent, then you look at the position of the wealthy people that you meet, and you look at all of the connections and opportunities and your education, then it really makes sense. Because there is no way that they could teach you these things about life, but they could set up opportunities where you could learn and they could find out what you were made of. So
I don't think they did that. I think you're going way out there, but that's cool. It sounds good. I don't think it's wrapped like that with a pretty bow, but okay. I just had a whole bunch of.
I think there's something on that line. Yeah, I think there's something on that level, and that you have so many pieces you haven't pushed up, and we're running out of time. So we're going to continue this down the line. I'd like to give. I'd like to take TJ off the hot seat.
Let me wrap her up, okay,
Let's
Janet?
ask you one final question. Okay, wrap her up.
Let me wrap her up.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the point of empowerment is that you experienced wealth, you experienced intelligence, you experienced power, you experienced being special, you experienced being connected to a community. There's a lot of power in what you experienced as a really, really young teenage woman. I mean, you were just a child, really, and you experienced so much. I mean, it was really intense, and it really changed how you feel things and how you see things. So it was an intense experience, and it is an incredible story. It really is powerful.
Yeah, that's just one or 2 years.
That's right.
But yeah, I never even thought that was part of my story. And I don't really think the government had anything to do with it. I mean, other than asking me if I wanted to work for them. But I can sort of see your point. I guess I don't know. I know I feel real uncomfortable, embarrassed, but you know this is on the radio. And Karen and Debra they showed up and didn't even get to do anything. It's not fair.
That's okay, dear. We're gonna all have our turn.
Yeah.
I want to be next week. I'm going to be next week, Suzanne. Are you going to come back again?
I don't.
I'll go on, and then Debra, do you want to go the following week, or Karen, who wants to go the following week?
I want to hear how they had sex at high school. Everybody gets to tell when they were virgins.
Okay.
I can tell you when I was a virgin. I think Debra will, and we were a lot of women
because I didn't know I was going to do that.
Sorry.
Exactly. Radio material. When women get together, talk about how we had sex.
You that material, we walked into that material. I certainly didn't expect to walk into that piece of material, Theresa. And it's your material that I walked into that's now that that's cleared up, you'll be amazed how much of your energy is freed up. It's huge. You work through
I know. I was just saying he slid it in. I never said that. He just slid it in. What's the introduction to sex? I don't know. He slid it in.
Theresa, do you realize how many important details came out that you never even considered before or thought of?
No. I just know it feels... my skin's on fire. I feel like I got... I really feel like I've been raked over the coals because I've enjoyed asking people questions and finding stuff out, but you don't just do it like we're doing me. I feel like I'm on one of those shows, Interrogator, and those cops, good cop, bad cop. It feels like I'm in one of those interrogation rooms.
Theresa, you have the Roswell story, which is what we're trying to get to. And that story, as amazing as this story is, that story is way more amazing. But we're trying to figure out how it's connected. You think your life is a series of random events, and there is nothing random about anything that happened into your life. Do you understand that?
No, not at all. I think it's all synchronicity, serendipity kind of stuff.
No, sister. No.
Well, that's how other people, but I had to live it, so
this
I just
is way
know
beyond random probability.
It is? How do you know?
Look at this. This is way beyond.
I thought it was funny there was movies being made of people around me. I did think that was strange. Wow, people get movies made around me.
Teresa, you need to take some B
complex. So, TJ, we got to wrap this up. So let Debra say her final words, let Karen, and then we'll Susan and me.
Okay,
and then,
so TJ, I'm like enthralled. Like I could listen to this for another 2 hours. Like seriously.
No, thank you.
Like
no, thank you.
You're not. It's you being on the hot seat is educating us about this situation because when you got off the phone, one of the things Karen and I talked about last week is that all of us have been brought together for a reason, right?
Oh,
and we're all in this. and we're all in this esoteric part of our lives. And there's so many things about us that we have in common. It's